I'll touch on the data part because that excites me because it's the current affairs right now. And you have like Zlatan going on against, I think, FIFA for his
Yeah.
image being used. And again, like, I think the game FIFA, not the actual FIFA, they are saying that we have taken from, I think, either from FIFA Pro or from the club, which again Zlatan denies that no one has taken permission from him. How does that situation get resolved? Because this is not a one-time thing. This has been happening for quite a while. If there was no legal procedure to take the data.
Um, it's a really interesting one that's bubbling at the moment. FIFA Pro, which are the world governing, the players governing body, world governing body, has entered into global agreements with computer games like FIFA to effectively license what they believe are particular rights that they either have permission, don't have permission for, have the ability to be able to use to for game manufacturers to then exploit as a result. Now, Ibrahimovic, Bale, through Riola and Jonathan Barnett, their agents, so it seems that they're close together by way of strategy on a variety of different things, including the new FIFA regulations, which we can talk about as well. They've questioned whether FIFA Pro actually have those rights to be able to provide to FIFA for FIFA then to exploit the image of those individuals in the games. Now, the issue that's also the case is Ibrahimovic plays for Milan, Bale plays for Madrid and Spurs. The point there that's worthwhile considering is those clubs have bilateral agreements with FIFA. So I would be shocked if, as part of that FIFA agreement, those clubs haven't provided permission for those players' images to be licensed into that game for those periods of time. So I'm not quite sure whether this is something of a power play against FIFA Pro, or whether this is something more nuanced, that they believe they should be giving their own personal permission for those rights to be granted, because it would seem, at least for a number of clubs and players, that EA's agreements with those clubs would probably grant those rights.
And it's not only like the FIFA, the game part. It's even like how you mentioned data for maybe different betting sites, or even like different, like you have all this analytical sites which are using this data. So do you think like this thing, if it goes and if they fight it or whatever, like they overcoat, do you think this can be as instrumental as Boston? Because then each and every player would have his own rights, maybe, which they can probably sell to like
Well, the
players.
query is whether they do already, and it depends on each national jurisdiction will have different laws as to image rights, ownership of rights, licensing of those rights of image. In some countries, there's no such thing as an image right. In the UK, there's no such thing as an image right, whereas in other countries, those types of rights are protectable. So the issue that anyone facing these type of things will have to consider is that it varies across tons of jurisdictions. So a right in one country might not be the same in another. And that's where you get into a sort of myriad of problems, is the truth, or complexity.
Player-wise, it would have to be Steven Gerrard, just because, again, before he became a journalist, he was someone I just admired massively in terms of the absolute complete footballer. I think if you were trying to like make a footballer in a factory, it would be Steven Gerrard, someone who, I think JV Carragher summed it up best once when he said, Steven Gerrard's biggest strength is he doesn't have any weaknesses.
The stadium. I don't see really need to do that, mainly such a big spending. But it's true that it would be a fantastic stadium. That's not bad, but you have to be careful, and mainly at this moment when we are going to face a very difficult time.